Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, Gamer K. Starting next year, the Legacy Collection for Megaman Starforce, the final Mega Man game that came out that wasn't based on the original Mega Man or Mega Man Battle Network. And I can't believe it. 20 years of Mega Man Starforce, one of the most underrated black sheep games of the Mega Man series. I think it deserves a lot more praise than it gets, to be honest. And I'm sorry. I can't believe it. 20 years? Wow. I still remember playing it way back when. And yeah, I still wasn't even that good at it. One thing that always surprised me about the first game, why make us select a name for our character when the other two games were called Geo? I don't get it. But kind of like the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection that I got 2 years ago, I've actually played every single game in the Starforce series because there's only 3. Could have done better. Could have done a little bit with one more game, but I'm digress. I decided to do a list of not the bosses, because I already did a boss list of that, and there's not so many of the bosses to do a bad list like I did with Battle Network. So instead, I'm going through. One thing that Mega Man Starforce does really well is the build-up sections towards each boss fight. So these are sections of the game where you have to get past the obstacles before you can fight the boss, while also dealing with the viruses that constantly attack you. Much like how in Battle Network they did the exact same thing, but more so doing the puzzles with Battle Network 6, doing more of the puzzle sections of it. And Battle Network 5, I guess. Yeah, Battle Network 5 and 6 both did puzzle sections before you got to the actual boss fight. This one, all 3 games do very different styles of it. And I figured I'd rank them all before the Battle Network Legacy Collection comes out. This was not planned. I found out about the Starforce Legacy 2 months ago. And I've had this list prepped since July? Yeah, since July. I like to have my videos scheduled months in advance just in case something happens so I can switch them out. So yeah, I'm ranking every single one of them from how enjoyable the sections are, how simplistic they are. Yeah, basically, if they're overtly complicated and hard to do, and not in the fun sense, they're further back. And you guys know how ranking lists go. I've done a good number of them. So let's continue. And starting off, we're going into Mega Man Battle Network 2, Starforce 2 with the Bermuda Maze. I hate mazes, especially ones that are so convoluted. This one has us trying to find Harp Note, who is an ally of ours, who went missing. And of course, the Bermuda Maze. Yes, the Bermuda Triangle. We get it. And it's a labyrinth that is such a pain in the ass for 3 reasons. 1, half the time the area is covered with smoke and you can only see a good majority of it. 2, the way out is by using the DS's. I'm really excited to see how the DS part of the games are going to be allowed, considering, oh no, wait, they could just do a freaking split screen. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm done. But the Bermuda Maze, once again. Second, you have to ask the Mr. Hertz for clues, and the stars tell the truth. For example, if you go to a section and there's a red star, listen to what the red star says. So if the red star says blue is telling you a lie, and if the blue says go left, that means go right. And then they'll have them all gold, so you won't be able to tell which, and you'll have to follow something. You'll have to follow a watchman as well, but be careful because of the smog. You probably won't be able to follow him, and some of the paths break off, and you'll have to be careful where he went. Mess up, you'll have to fight viruses and get sent back to the start of the maze. Luckily, once you complete it, there's a warp hole at the beginning of the maze, so you don't have to go through it again. But God almighty, even a mid-game level, the maze is still a pain in the ass. The final of Megaman Battle Network 3, Meteor G. This one doesn't do anything special. All you do is find the bits of fragments of your father. Yeah, I'm not going into lore in this video. I'm just ranting about the levels. So, bits and pieces of your father's data and memories to unlock while also fighting back copies of yourself. Or maybe I'm getting it confused with something else. Either way, for a final area and for a villain that should have been better and having a lot better of this, the Meteor G is subpar. It's the weakest of the final sections. So, that's what I gotta say about that. And we're back to number 1. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, no, our first one for number 1. Ironically, it's number 1 from Mega Man 1. The first boss fight with Taurus Fire in the truck CPU. In order to get through this, the pathways are broken and you gotta ride the angry mechanical bulls. Get it? Because it's Taurus. So while we're getting the computer systems fine and going through the ways, the mechanical bulls will buck and bronco on us unless we hit the buttons in time. Once we chill off the computer, the bulls will go into their normal state and just walk on the path as normal. Very on the nose when it came to the villains in Mega Man Starforce 1. Each one's, again, very on the nose. Not the best. Very simplistic, so there are a lot better ones. Once again, going back to Mega Man Battle Network 2 for the final boss, for the first boss of this game, the IFL Tower, where it's not so much a puzzle as it is trying to navigate the paths with the Boo Hat viruses constantly going in your area, in your section. Basically, avoid them, suck up the giant energy ones, and that's it. Yeah, for a starter, honestly, the starter ones aren't that difficult. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about this one. Not a lot. The final section of Battle Network 2. We're already done with the finals so far, except for one. Moo. The Island of Moo. As we go through the sections, this part actually made me really, really happy because we had to memorize how... So, the Moo Guardians have these panel chests where it will... Once we go through a section and we get the code, that one part of the code, it will rise up and the Moo Guardians will come at us. And in order to destroy them, you have to use the stylus to recreate the pattern that flashes on their chest within the allotted time. Do that, and the Guardians are destroyed. And this one really made me feel, because anytime I actually have to use my brain and write down codes, I love it. So you got to draw the square and what the code looks like and put them in the precise order of the door. Do that, and you get the re-fight with any of the bosses that we fought previously, a.k.a. Yeti Blizzard, Plesio Surf, and Terra Condor. So, yeah, basically just that same thing that they do where you got to fight the same bosses over again before the end. I will admit, the concept of using the glyphs in order to open up the passage, not a bad concept. Sadly, it's kind of boring once you do it the 50th time. Like I said, the starter sections are the easiest. The rocket from Megaman Starforce 3 is a clear example. Being on a rocket that's going to detonate and just with electromagnetic energy, thanks to Spade Magnus, we go into the rocket computer with his younger brother. I can't remember the name. Where in order to progress, we have to use magnet polarity either to repel us or attract us. So again, magnets. Oh, God, I miss it when you were the boss. You were actually pretty interesting. But yeah, very simplistic for a starter. It's the first of the game. So again, not as complicated. What is it with superheroes and chasing their girlfriends if they're evil? Black Cat and Spider-Man, Catwoman and Batman, Harp Note and Megaman. After being kind of manipulated by Lyra, Sonia Strum, young teen rock star, is pissed off by her manager for wanting her to sing for profit instead of just her songs that she really loves because of her mother. Yeah, the anime that they tried to do for this didn't do so well, and it kind of fudged things up. Yeah, I know Battle Network and NT Warrior aren't nowhere near the same thing, but I kind of like the Starforce game so much better. I didn't even finish the anime. But Lyra creates her, and it's not much of a CPU area. It's basically the wave road throughout Echo Ridge, which is where our heroes live, and going to the school where we just gotta follow her and do a somewhat shooting section where it's always in the square sections where notes will be coming at us from all directions and we gotta shoot at each direction. So yeah, not that difficult of a scenario, and I'm glad. Because we were chasing her in the Bermuda Maze in number 2, thank God they didn't bring it back because it was a pain. Although I will admit, I did love the concept of not having to go into another computer and everything. I do love that they kind of mixed it up a little. So kudos there. The space sim from number 1, which is the number 2 villain, Cygnus. Encapsulating everyone in the simulation where there's no air in the space simulation area. I do love this one. Problem is with it, it's another thing where the platform, Cygnus has sent a bunch of his mini ducklings to attack us with comet attacks, and the only way to defeat them is by grabbing a rocket and waiting for them to come into range and shooting them. And the ducklings will go in irregular patterns, but if you can time it right, this one should be over in a snap. I do love the story of this one, though. It's really, really good. I love the Starforce series and how they really do their villains pretty well. And honestly, after this one, it only goes up from here. Going back to number 2, we got the Wazapa Ruins. Yes, that's actually what they're called. Wazap. I can't believe I did that. Well, going into number 2 again, we got the Wazapa Ruins from Starforce 2. No, seriously, that's what they're called. Terra Condor takes our friends into the ruins, and this one's actually a little bit better. I do like the number 2 ones where we don't have to go into a computer server, and it's basically in the open world, which I do like. What was I going to say? We have to find the red Mr. Hertz in order to light the pyres in order to gain access. Sadly, though, Terracondor sent one of his little birdies in order to play guard. Every time we collect Mr. Hertz, they will attack us. Once it leaves the top of the screen, that's your indicator to duck and cover. Luckily, there are underground ruins where you can go under and they'll hit them, so you won't get hit. Once they hit a Mr. Hertz, you got to go back to where they were and bring them all again to the and then you have to bring more than one. So you really got to plan your attack ahead of time. Find where the Mr. Hertz is, find where the corresponding pyre is, and that's pretty much simple. I did like this one because it added a little bit of frustration, but not so much that it felt unfair. Now we're back at the school. We're at the school from Megaman Bound Network 3, where Jack Corvus is attacking our friends, and we are stuck working with Rogue, who is our rival. Basically to what Proto Man is to Megaman and Lan, but more so of an anti-hero. So we gotta fight off these noise viruses, and we gotta use our Mega Buster to blast them so that Rogue can go in and land a good number of attacks. Take too long, however, and then the amount of damage will be less. So really start aiming better. I do like sections when the hero has to work with the anti-hero, even if for a little bit. The environmental computer and basically the Hawaii area of the game, because every single game, every high school in Japan gets to go to Hawaii. Seriously, it's happened twice. How? I guess we need a beach scene somehow, right? But in this one, it's pretty good. This one's above a lot of the other ones, but it's somewhat of a simpler one. The ground is fragile, and you basically gotta keep running, and when you see a crack, you gotta jump over it. Ooh, really? This is what they did for this? Well, not all of them can be good, and honestly, I'm gonna say this. Starforce 3 was running on Steam for not having the most complicated or fun puzzles before the boss. Yeah. Now we're going back to number 2 with the Grizzly Peak section, where in a snowstorm created by Yeti Blizzard, we gotta save our friends who were up the mountain. And ironically, this one's actually pretty fun. We go into one of the snowman. We go into, I can't remember what it is. One of the programs where we are literally skiing downhill, where we got to avoid obstacles, collect as many Mr. Hertz as possible, and then once we collect enough, then it will end. Again, not the most complicated one, but actually pretty ingenious considering we're at a ski resort, so why not take full advantage of it? I know that these ones aren't going to be as long as my top 13s and everything, but who's complaining? Number 3, we got Dealer's Hideout. This one was actually pretty fun. Not only going through each of the computers where our friends have to take on some threats and help us, and then one of them where we were literally screwed, but then somehow it stopped. And then as we exited out of the computer, we see Rogue's spinel blade stuck in and it evaporates. So yeah, even though he doesn't like helping us, Rogue does feel the need to help us when he wants. And in this one, the hideout is really, really fun. It's kind of a trick combination thing where there are playing cards on the ground. Some of them are turned over, and you got to turn them all over. But once you step over one, you can't go over it again. So you got to really plan out how you're going to flip them all, because if you walk over one that's flipped, it will flip right side up, and vice versa. So Dealer's Hideout is the best hideout section of the entire series of Mega Man Starforce. Except for one, technically, that's not really a hideout. It's basically... you know what I mean. Because this gave us full flashbacks of going into every single World 3 section at the end of Mega Man Battle Network. And also one Nebula with number 5. But it just gave us that thrill of going into the boss's hideout and just screwing them over. It just gave fun nostalgia for that. Next, we're going back to number 1 with the Snake Computer. I will admit, they did come up with a very ingenious way of utilizing one of the bosses, Ophiuka, which is the Snake Charmer constellation, and incorporating that into Luna Platz and her controlling parents, and kind of being jealous that Geo was technically on a date with Sonia at the mall, which on the top of it is a snake exhibition. Guess what fucking happens? We had animals running about in Mega Man Battle Network 3. We had sea animals let loose in Battle Network 6. So clearly, the snakes do nothing. They were all fake, and it was an easy win. No, all the snakes' eggs are being sent out, and we have to figure out a way to defeat them. Which sends us back to find the thermometer card. Yeah, a big gimmick in Battle Network 1 was finding these Navi character cards, were basically Navis that are basic things, but actually prove very useful later in game and during the side missions, in order to chill out the snakes so that they go hibernate. And then going into the reptile area, where we go into this giant snake CPU, and once we get in there, we basically got to find the Mr. Hertz again, while there are snakes hiding, and they will come at us like Slither. They come after us like Slither IO, or that one snake game that was in those old video games. And if they get us, we'll be poisoned for a bit until we get some antidote. Very interesting concept of how to utilize Ophiuka as a whole. But yeah, again, the snake one, very, very fun. Now we're going into the stage for Mega Man Battle Network 3. So, a holographic stage. Even though it's holographic, it's still malleable. It's still a solid object with the EM wave technology that they have. This one, because of the villain, the computer system is freezing and the stage is going to be destroyed. So we jack into it or transfer into it, and the panels are frozen. And if we stay on them too long, the meter will rise and will freeze in place. But with Taurus Fire, we can basically just melt the ice. But it does hinder our process. I like the atmosphere of it. And we also have the whole thing of having Taurus Fire melt all the giant ice blocks that are blocking our path. It's not as annoying as Iceman or Freeze Man, but this one was still actually not that bad. Like I said, Battle Network 3 really had the lowest pick of the draw for the sections like this, like I said. But we're in the top 3 now, so that's something. Oh, top 4. The School from Battle Network 1, from Starforce 1. Sorry, I've been playing Battle Network again the last couple of times, so The school from Starforce 1, where we have to jack into the main server of the school to stop Libra scales from force feeding knowledge into people with a EM wave, a study EM wave that is technically harmful to people. Yeah. And this one is it's kind of on the same rounds of Number Man, where in order to progress, we have to destroy these Einstein-looking scholar machines that are shooting out papers at you, and you'll only have a few seconds to read the question and to pick what the correct answer is. Get it wrong and you take damage. So this really actually utilizes your actual brain power and actual common sense. So if you failed school...
F for everyone! It's an F-a-palooza! All you can eat F! Wow! Look at all the failure!
Yeah, like I wasn't going to use that clip at some point in one of my videos. Now we're in the top 3, and this one is, ironically, still number 1, the junkyard. The second to last area that utilizes this kind of formula. In the garbage, we have to find certain Mr. Hertz in order to remove all the trash that are blocking the way. And the giant junk areas, there are certain amounts of specific items that are given clues. Like if somewhere where he's cold, there's a refrigerator, and you'll have to go digging in order to find him. And luckily, they have this radar system where if you tap it, it will beep blue for cold, yellow for warm, red for hot, and you'll have to dig them out. But take too long sometimes, and the bulldozers will move the trash over a little bit, so you'll have to rethink. I do like this one because it does give you a lot of problem solving. Well, not problem solving, but paying attention to everything. Number 2 is the space station from number 1, the final section. And this one is a close personal favorite, where in each section, you'll kind of like hit these things that will send you to the next way. And on the ground, you'll see a constellation. So you have to get to the door and connect the stars in order to create the constellation. Some of them are simple. Some of them aren't that simple. But again, I do like that they utilize the fact that the bosses are all the constellations, and you actually have to use those constellations to unlock the door. So I do appreciate that. It's something really, really fun and really creative. I'm wondering how they're going to make us do it for the Legacy Collection. And finally, we have Loch Mess, where in order to find Plesiosurf, again, we have to find the Mr. Hertz that are found at the bottom of the lake. And much like the junkyard one, they will tell us where specifically they are and use the dive machine in order to dig for them. Where we will also find the HP things, battle cards, piranha viruses. But you really got to pay attention to where these Mr. Hertz were in order to find where they are. And then they'll unlock the section and you progress to the next part of the lake. Again, I love all these sections because they gave a really fun enhancement to what the Battle Network did for Battle Networks 5 and 6 and continued it on to being some of the most fun I've had in the series before a boss fight. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope a lot of Mega Man Starforce fans are ready for next year. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join me next week, where I end the month of November by finally talking about a game that is so fun. And it's a game I've been waiting to review since I got it, but I wanted to do it for a special occasion. So to end this month, by going over a game review where I finally come out of the shadows to see what the Creed has been up to. This is Gamer K, logging out.